Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about Purrely and Darklord. So, there is some moderate synergy with Purrely and some of your Darklord cards. So, notably, you only require Dark Fairy monsters to summon the Condemned Darklord, and as well as the first Darklord, meaning your copies of Purrely can be used for either. But the downside is that, well, your normal Purrelys don't really help out with this too much, I suppose. Which is, like, fine enough, I guess. But Dark Lords in general require a lot of card count. And in terms of Dark Fairies, there aren't that many good Dark Fairies. So pre-Purrely, there was Despia, and then there was Dark Lord, and I don't think there was anything else worth mention. So, real quick, all we need to trigger the first Dark Lord's effect specifically is it needs to be fusion summoned using a Dark Lord monster, well, specifically Dark Lord Morningstar as material, and if you do so, you can destroy all cards your opponent controls. So this is like a Zeus type of thing, but one-sided, you know? Wipes out your opponent's entire board. However, you can only use one of the effects of the first Dark Lord per turn, and only once that turn, which counts sucks, so that locks you out of the special summon one fairy monster from your hand or graveyard in defense position effect. So, that kinda sucks. So, if you do use Morningstar's material to summon, you can't use this other effect. Or, you can't use this effect and then use this effect. Assuming you summon a second the first Dark Lord, that would not work. Unfortunately. But interestingly enough, this also does make your fairy monsters untargetable. So, in theory, if you somehow manage to get the first Dark Lord out first and then summon normal Purrely, then it would not be targetable. And this specifically says fairy monsters, which all of the Purrely monsters are indeed fairy monsters. So they just become permanently untargetable. So that's one step up from straight Purrely Street. And this is really good in particular against something like Tearlament, and I believe Dragon Link as well has some struggles against this. So let's see, Borreload. Not Borreload. Boral End. So, Boral End. Does this target? Yes, it does indeed target. So, Boral End does not negate. Although, like, removing Boral End is a little awkward. Although it's very possible. So normally, in theory, if your opponent somehow does manage to make Boral End, and let's say you do have a copy of Noir, then you could, in theory, well, I guess you can't because Boral End isn't targetable by monster effects, but let's pretend you could, right? Boral End would still get priority first anyways, and then target your Noir, and then be able to negate Noir, and then just punch over it pretty easily, because the effects of the cards equipped to your Noir are going to be, how do I put it? Well, they become Noir's effects. So if Noir is negated, all of those effects will be gone, including the attack increase and defense increase. So beating over your monster, super easy. So there's that moderate threat. But essentially we're looking at something like probably this. And I think it would be too annoying to fit in like the Despia stuff, since this is kind of an XYZ deck as well. So I think copies of Purrely are probably like required, like probably not 3 copies, I would say, though, because you don't have any usage with Purrely, right? Actually, no way. You can use it to make Condemned Dark Lord, so it's not as bad. This only requires fairies. This one requires dark fairies, so it becomes a little bit better to run 3. Actually, I changed my mind. All right, so then copies of my friend, and we'll just see how much engine you have to run to get this to work. So Sleepy Memory is typically good, and we'll run like at least one of nearly every single one of these. And then this one is good, this one is kind of good as well. And what does this put us at? 25 after putting in the Purrely cards. And then for the Darklord cards, this is a bit awkward, but let's put in the best ones first. So 3 copies of Contact, 3 copies of Banishment. And then you do want to probably do a normal summon your Darklord almost, but I don't think you can. Almost. You have 6 normal summons here, more or less. So not using them would be pretty ideal, I guess. So let's try this. And 1 or 2 Morning Stars, that's kind of like preference, I guess. I think 2 is okay. Then we have like Darklord Enchantment, Sanctified Darklord, and all this. So that'll be a little bit weird to make happen, but we also want to probably run more copies of Indulged, 1 of Uko, and then already we're at 37 cards and we don't have room for like non-engine. Like if we throw in 3 of Ash Blossom, we're already going to be at 40 cards. So that's pretty awkward, I guess. If we go 2 copies of my friend Purrely, it doesn't help that much either. Well, that's alright, I guess. So notably though, because of how this deck works, we don't need Purrely Yeep to recycle because we can just summon our monsters directly from the graveyard with first Darklord effect, so that's cool. But I think we need more Link monsters. Notably, we probably want 2 Condemned Darklord and then like some other Link monsters. And this is because we'll be summoning a lot of guys back because we summon Darklord Superbia and then we summon another guy back and then boom. We have a bunch of guys. We also do probably want a copy. Is it Nastin? Maybe not Nastin, actually. Where is it? Nurgle, I guess, would be good. So 1 copy of Nurgle, and then 1 copy of Hetsketlipoka, I think. We need about 3, I think, is about right. 3 Darklords. 3 of the big Darklords. In my opinion, that's like a decent ratio to play for these guys. And we haven't even had room for any of these, so... Right now, we don't have a way to fusion summon, so let's put in Uprising and we'll test it like this. Building this is super awkward, though, so... meh. That's somewhat noticeable. This effect is hard to meet, so this trap kind of sucks. And then we only need so many copies of these guys, and then Ukoback can probably help us out with the rest of what we need. And I gotta check the condition to this. Fusion summon a Dark Fusion monster from your extra deck. So any Dark Fusion is makeable. Fusion. And then we'll go Dark. So we have to use from on field, but that means Preplan Draco Stapelia is pretty makeable here at some point. If the Overtone requires 3 on field dark monsters. Maybe. I don't know if that's like that great, but whatever. Well, we just put in some like Dark Fusion targets. I think Guardian Chimera is makeable as well, right? Using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material. Then you can gain LB equal to the original attack of the monster sent to the graveyard to activate this card. So that would only be if you activate this while it's set on the field. Okay, so that's not gonna happen. So all we can afford to put in is, we'll just try 3 of Ash and 2 of Coldvine. And then to balance this out, we'll try 3 of Reasoning. And let's just give it a whirl. So we're at 51 cards, not the best, and I haven't figured out what generic links to put in exactly. But for now, let's just throw in some classic stuff. So IP, Unicorn, and maybe consider like a Magician Soul or something. I guess Apollosa as well might be okay. I don't know how many bodies we get on the field, but this is also a fairy, so this becomes untargetable, which is a little bit humorous, but whatever. Let's see, we opened a cracked hand. I think this is combo, right? No. Wait, is it? Let me think. If we have to normal summon, then that means we cannot normal summon Morningstar, right? So the ideal combo, I believe, was to have indulged in the graveyard somehow. So it would be yugioh putting indulged into the graveyard so you can then summon back indulged with Darklord Contact. And then after that, I think you can, let's see, you can add a Darklord card and you should have like something else, right? I don't remember the exact details of how this works. If you gave me a hand, I think I could work it out, but you special summon this, and then your opponent gets a card, you get a card, and then you're supposed to, oh right, you're supposed to summon another Darklord. So it would probably be Nastin, if I were to guess, and then Nastin effect happens, and you're supposed to use Nastin's effect to summon itself, I think, and then you can use Banishment of the Dark Lords or something. Something like that. Actually, no, wait, you're supposed to have Darklord Contact, so after Indulge Darklord, you have Contact to summon back. Not Indulged, right? You don't summon Indulged first. You would summon yugioh, assuming you put yugioh and Indulged into the graveyard at the same time, right? Then you summon this back, and then yugioh summons back Indulged. Then Indulged adds a card for you. So that card is Superbia, I think. Unless you have another card you want to discard, then you use the effect of Condemn to discard Superbia in order to add from your deck to your hand Morningstar, and then you can banish 2 cards in the graveyard to summon your copy of Morningstar. In this case, it would be yugioh and Indulged, I guess. And then your opponent will have a monster on the field that you gave to them. So in this case, it could be whatever. So that means we need another copy of, we go back at least one more, I think. So whatever then. That hand was pretty good though, I think. So let's see with this hand. Okay. So we would probably have to grab something we would want to put into the graveyard. But we don't need to do that yet, so we could probably start off with Reasoning. So Reasoning probably declares 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Or this would go to the graveyard. So if our opponent did not declare that, we have an insane combo here, right? So this goes to graveyard, this goes to graveyard, this goes to graveyard. We still have this, so we can use this to discard, and we can use this to draw as well, so we can like... So actually, since this is actually in the graveyard now that I think about it. Oh, I see. So we can activate Banishment to grab Darklord Contact effect on Indulged. And then Indulged can add us a card. A Darklord card, and we have yet to normal summon. One of our Morningstars is in the graveyard, which sort of sucks, but whatever. What would we add here? Whatever's fine, right? Superbia. And then we could use yugioh effect to discard and draw. There's that potential, or we could just drop the banishment or whatever we wanted instead. So this becomes pretty convoluted. Well, whatever. Draw 2. Sanctified Darklord and Purrely. Purrely, actually, yeah. So, Wait. I did my math wrong, I just realized. Oh, because this is in the graveyard, right? But if this summoned, it would be way better. Yeah, that's what it was. Okay. So then we have Purrely Pretty Memory. We can get rid of Sanctified Darklord. Summon a copy of our Purrely. Oh, I didn't calculate this part. Now we actually have 2 fairy monsters without normal summoning for Condemned Darklord. And our opponent, I assume I would summon Uku back to their field. Then we can add our last copy of Darklord Morningstar. What hand card do we have left? So this had to discard something, right? So assuming that we would grab my friend and then... Oh yeah, this works out great. So we can my friend to grab a copy of Delicious Memory, and then we can't make Noir here because we're lacking cards, right? Oh, I guess. But actually, are we lacking? If we were to fusion summon the first Darklord immediately here, then we can summon back Purrely, and then I don't know if it's doable with this hand anymore, but then we can summon Plump after that. And then that's where we have to stop. We can't go past Plump realistically, so it'd be better to go for Beauty here for the Monster Negate, I guess. Which is, like, fine. Not a big deal. And we also get a draw in standby. And then next turn we'll also get the affected. Activate one of these because we can probably summon back a guy because we add another guy off of Indulged, and then we'll probably have Superbia and stuff. Summon Condemned. Yeah. Well, we'll see though. This hand is absolutely weird. I guess if you start summoning Purrelys, this hand can probably work and we just get some of these cards into the graveyard because they're just alright as discards anyways. So it's just a matter of if we can hit Purrely cards consistently enough. So we have Happy Memory hit. My Friend. So that's like not the best to hit My Friend here, I guess. But it can work for sure. But like, is it that great? Consistency wise and synergy wise, I see only like moderate synergy. The synergy here looks a bit worse than like in terms of Despia Darklord, but even then it required you to run a lot of engine to make that deck playable. So I'm not 100% sure if this is like that great. Anyways, I don't know, like, would this even be combo here? Like, and juggling your normal summons is kind of awkward too. So, we can attempt to fix hand here by like adding yugioh, for example, and then draw 2, right? And then that would be great, right? Then we have my friend. But we have no like going second ability at all. Like, how many hands do I need to do to get like a single like card I can activate going second? Boom, Ash Blossom. That's really all we have. These 3 Ash Blossoms in our 52 card deck. So even if you optimized it, doesn't seem like it would be that great personally. But reasoning does go hard. Like, we do this. Boom, summon Purrely, and then excavate 3. And it whiffs. As expected. Oh, it would have been the 4th card, the one immediately after though. That's not great, but here we can just do draw 2, right? And then that's great, right? Yeah. And then we have Uko back, Superbia, we have our copy of My Friend. So here, actually, this goes pretty great, right? We can actually contact yugioh, and then we can like use My Friend to search a Purrely quick play. Any quick play, so it'll probably usually be memory. So we can memory here, I guess, right? But let me check what the effect says. Apply that target's effect, then shuffle that target into the deck. Wait a second. I don't know if this works or not, but I'm going to like assume no. So if I have Darklord yugioh on the field, let's say, and then I have Plump, if I go chain 1 Ixchel targeting, let's say, for example, contact, and then I plump effect to attach contact, can I later detach contact off of, like, maybe Noir, and then use... And then, like, would Ixchel's effect still resolve? I think it's a no, right? Apply that target's effect, then shuffle that target into the deck. Because both of these parts are mandatory, I think, it might not work. But you can technically use contact in the graveyard's effect, like, 3 times if you had, like, a bunch of different Darklords on your field, I guess. So that would work. But, let's see, since we already started my friend, I guess we should start with safe play and put Uko back in the graveyard first. Probably would be fine. So, yeah. And then summon Purrely, and then 1, 2, 3. Another copy of Delicious. And then, technically we could make rank 1 plays here, or we could use this to just make Condemned Darklord straight up. Well, whatever. Then we can summon a copy of Purrely again. We don't have that many targets for Purrely, actually, I think. Unless we want to summon Purrely to use the card in the graveyard. Which we could. Definitely could. Or we can get another Dark Berry monster. And just grab my friend for next turn. That's possible, but... probably try Dig 3 again. Got Pretty Memory. Nice. So then if we did that, we would have Pretty Memory in hand, Delicious in graveyard, and then Uko back and Superbia in the graveyard. If we activate Contact now, this won't miss timing, and we can just summon Superbia. So then Superbia summons itself and Uko back. And then we have these two, and then we still have 2 fairy monsters in our field, specifically Purrely's, right? Oh, then that's a lot of material we would have. And we can technically send Purrely Pretty Memory as cost for Condemned Darklord's effect here. So we can send this and use that to add Morning Star, technically. We have not yet normal summoned, though. Let me think, though, if we summon this. We would probably summon this first, right? And then we would have this, summon this. Okay, so we should grab Morningstar, I believe. We don't have a reason to normal summon Morningstar because our opponent should not control any monsters. So we just grab Morningstar and then have Uko back, send either Banishment or Uprising. If we needed to send a card, I guess we might have been better off doing Banishment, but I don't think, since we don't have the effect of Ixchel here, I guess, then it's not worth it. So probably just grab Uprising, and then we can just use the effect of, like, Ixchel the next turn to just drop first Darklord. If we did summon a Purrely, though, the only option we would have is Plump. And then we could technically, if we summon Plump, though, could we have done something? Don't think so. But it is interesting that this might be able to do something. So we draw 2 here. Back another Ixchel, and then we just have Purrely and Plump. So probably normal summon Plump, and then discarding, like, Purrely and maybe Ixchel. But now we no longer have a way into our Darklord cards anymore. For the most part. Like, we can technically, at most, grab Condemned Darklord, so... Not entirely sure how this would work. I mean, the extra deck could use more optimization, but if we really get going... It is cool that we can make, like, Predaplant, Dragostapelia, and we can make, like, Trophy Overtone, Guardian Chimera. These are all pretty makeable. Just with, like, the Darklord stuff. If we had more copies of Uprising in the graveyard, though, we could just do a few of these per turn, so that's interesting, actually. So maybe the play might be to try mixing it with actually Tearlament, but the issue is you don't have like the fairy monsters. Specifically, you need dark fairy monsters to make the first Dark Lord, so that part of the equation is a bit weird. Also, you want your Dark Lords in hand or on the field, and not necessarily just in the graveyard, but you do want your spell traps in the graveyard, so maybe there's synergy in this, and we'll try building this another time, I guess. Tearlament Dark Lord, maybe. Could potentially work. It needs to be thought about a bit more. Notably, it would probably work pretty crazy well if we could just change on field so that all monsters will be fairies on field, but even then, water, dark, and then this is dark, so that's like weird as well. But if we could send this via effect, it doesn't matter. This will still trigger in mill 5, so yeah. That's about all I've got for you guys today, and if you have any recommendations for anything else I could try mixing with Darklord, feel free to let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!